This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Life Mastery with Todd Allen, the talk radio show that dives into the science of higher consciousness. Join Todd and his guests weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and learn how to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. Enjoy a survey of inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. It's all right here. Leading authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs with stories and messages to support your well-being, let alone your most evocative dreams.
Hey, it's another groovy day, and that's because every morning when I wake up, I decide to make it that way, and that's the way it is for the rest of the day. Something different might happen, but I always think back to when I started the day out, and it's all groovy, so I just keep right on rolling along. Welcome to Life Mastery Radio with Todd and Jackie, the talk show that brings you great thoughts and ideas for you to use on your very own life mastery journey. Before we get started today, we have a wonderful guest. We've got some great videos. Today's a dance. How's that song go, Jack?
Which song are you referring to? There's a lot of dance songs out there.
Before we get started, let's just take a minute. We got a little late start, but that's okay. We're here. We've shown up, and we have a great show for you. But let's just take a minute and get ourselves centered and situated and ready for some great content. And let's take in a deep breath. And as you're taking in that deep breath, think about what it is that you connect to. What do you get power from? Where is it that you get solace from, I guess, in what your thoughts are? And just think about that for a minute. Take in a deep breath. And let that breath out with a big ah. And just let your essence flow up through your throat chakra and out of your speaker box, out into the universe. Now let's do that one more time and think about your dreams, visions, and goals. What is it that you aspire to be, do, and have? Anchor that in with a deep breath. And let that breath out with a big ah. Let those dreams, visions, and goals flow right out of your speaker box, out into the universe. And for sure now, all you have to do is provide the universe with the opportunity to make those come true for you. And they will. That's the deal. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
We're all in the groove again this morning. A little late start, a little late out of the gate, but we're here.
Technical difficulties, right? You either let them take you down or you just rise above it, right?
It's all supposed to be what it's supposed to be. So whatever it was supposed to be, we're in the groove now.
Yeah, for sure.
How's
so how are you
going?
Things are going pretty well. Do you want to hear about our new project? Our project that is somewhat underway?
Okay.
We are going to give our public speaking students a new way to share their voice. And we are going to develop a compilation book where each of our students, up to 40 of them, are going to be given a whole chapter of the book to share a fictional or non-fictional story, experience, message, knowledge, whatever they want to do. And we're going to have a compilation book out hopefully by the end of this year. And won't it be awesome for some of these kids to say, I'm a published author even before I started middle school? Or before I got to college, I'm a published author. What's that going to look like on college submission papers? So we are really excited about this opportunity, but we are raising funds for it because it does cost $10,000 to make the deal with the publishing company. So we are out there asking you to help us to give our students a voice in a completely different way than we have been doing for the last 2 years. and help them to write their messages, not help them write it, but help them get it out there to the world.
And be in a book. How cool is that?
In a book. Yeah, it's going
That's
to be a
pretty cool.
really awesome thing.
There's a lot of those kinds of books out there that have become very popular. So that's a cool idea. So where can they find out more? Where can people help you donate?
They can, right now we're working on having a specific bucket for those donations to go into for the book. We're almost there. But in the meantime, any donation that you make right now is going to go toward that bucket. So just go to speakfeedlead.org. And you can even make a note on your donation that this is for the compilation book or something like that, or for the next big project. And we'll make sure that it gets attributed to that. It's going to be anywhere from $250 to $500 per author as we figure this out. So if you want to sponsor a whole chapter for one of our students, $500 would be awesome. If you want to do partial of that or what you can do, $25, $5, whatever you can do is really going to help.
So what if I wanted to be in the book? How do I get in the book? Do I have to join one of your classes? Do I have to?
You have to be a student of the Speak Feed Lead project. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm working on a workshop that I'm going to put together to help these students discover the message they want to give in their chapter. And so if you want to be part of the workshop, then you are sort of a student of the Speak Feed Lead project. And that way you can get into the book as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
More info at speakfeedlead.org.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Be a part of it.
Sounds like it. Keep us posted. I want to remind our listeners that today's show page is at www.lifemasteryradio.net or .com. Whichever one you prefer, and any links that we talk. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I think our guest has a giveaway. So if you go to the website after the show, there'll be a link there and you just might get something. More news at 11. While you're on the website, check out Jackie's book, check out my book, and for sure, sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter goes out once a week, all things life mastery, who's been on the show, who's coming on the show, and a blog post about the show that we just did that Jackie does. And that's all we use that email address for, is that newsletter. So sign up and stay informed, all things life mastery. What else? I think that's it. We got a late start today. My apologies, but we are ready to rock and roll and take it away, Jackie. She's going to introduce our guest.
Yeah. First of all, before I do that, I have to give a shout out to my husband, who is
happy birthday, Arnie.
60 today. Love you. Have a great day. Oh my goodness.
Did he want you to say that?
Hey, it's the truth. I always tell the truth.
Him and I were born the same year. Oh, I guess I just told you how old I am.
You just see, you gave it away. All right. Well, our guest today has started a movement. Okay. You're going to hear what I mean by that in a second. She is Bonnie Wallace, the founder of Bonnie Wallace Dance Studios, and has worked with women in the creative space for, 13 years. And she's developed an approach to dance that blends a variety of techniques and practices and has brought the benefits of dance to hundreds of women. Yay. Her students benefit from the stretches and exercises, as well as from the opportunity to creatively express themselves with movement. All right. She engages the whole body, the whole mind, the whole spirit, and her classes inspire and ignite passion and vitality to her students' lives. Now, Bonnie used to have this studio, well, she still has a studio, but before the pandemic, she was giving these dance classes in the studio. And of course, like many businesses, she had to pivot to an online version, and she still has success with that. And so she's going to keep both. So no matter where you live, you can take a class with Bonnie. So please welcome our dance pro here. Bonnie Wallace is our guest today. Yay!
Yay.
Welcome to Life Mastery Radio, Bonnie.
Thanks you.
Thanks for sticking in there through all the technological issues this morning.
Oh, yeah. My pleasure. I know what it's like being on Zoom and whatnot.
It's the way of the world these days.
Yeah.
So Bonnie, all throughout our culture, all throughout ancient history, I mean, dance has been an important part of what people did. And so you get three things going. I think I can count that high. You get music. Music has the ability to create, what do I want to say, Jackie? Create different awareness. And then you have the body movement and then the rhythm, right? Is the rhythm a big part of moving with the music?
For sure. Absolutely. The rhythm is a big part of it. Just like playing an instrument when you're dancing, your body is the instrument. So sometimes you're working in, square 4 time, quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes. You could think of it that way, just like rhythm with music. Yeah, it's a good way.
I don't know that I pay attention to the timing. I just let things hang loose, right?
Right, exactly. Well, it's not the tempo. It's not the tempo, right? When you're talking about rhythm, you're talking about the beats.
The natural. Yeah, it's just natural.
Yeah. It's not how fast the beats are, but are you counting like 1, 2, or 1 and 2, or 1 and a 2? So anyways, like a waltz step or what.
Yeah.
So that's the rhythm.
Right. So when you're learning to dance, counting things off like that are helpful, right? But if music starts playing and your body says, I got to move.
That's Jackie.
It doesn't matter what the rhythm is. It doesn't matter what the tempo is. You're just going to let your body do what it wants to do, right?
Exactly.
So what if you don't have rhythm as a dancer?
Yeah.
Can you teach that, or is it just something that we have to develop in ourselves?
Well, you teach it by doing it, right? Yes, you can teach it. Do you remember that Muppet song, I Got Rhythm?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, but for sure you develop rhythm, you develop coordination, you develop grace, you understand the music better the more you dance, for sure.
Yeah.
And it can be taught.
Well, how did you get into this? How long have you been passionate about dance, and why is it so passionate for you?
Well, I started dancing as maybe even a preschooler or kindergarten student. My mom took me to the local dance studio, and she likes to tell this story where they had a recital, and at the time I was completely unaware of this, but we were doing the recital and I was put in front of the class to lead the kids in my class. I mean, I didn't really know that to be true even, so I never even said anything. But when she was watching the recital, sure enough, they put me in front so that I could do the dance and lead the kids behind. And I mean, we're talking kindergarten or younger. And so I just, I danced all my life starting then. I never, ever stopped. I danced all through school, primary school, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, after college, pregnancy, after pregnancy. So, now kids, I mean, I've never stopped dancing.
Was your mom a dancer too? Is that why she got you into it, or?
She started dancing when I started dancing, but when I was older, she started dancing, and now she takes all my classes.
Oh, nice.
She's been taking all my classes for about 10 years now.
Well, so that's another good question then. Does dancing keep you young?
It sure does. It's the fountain of youth. My mom is 76 years old. She takes all my classes. She's super healthy. She's super flexible. She's got a great body. And I think it is because, she exercises and she takes dance. So, yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that's important is everybody can do it, right? It doesn't matter if you need to develop rhythm or you don't have rhythm. It's the movement. It's the choreography. Maybe explain that a little bit more.
Yes. So you're right. You don't really need anything too, right? You just need your body. You just need a little bit of space. You don't have to buy any fancy equipment. And it's just about following along. So, I mean, if you can take a deep breath, like you were kind of doing earlier in the show, and you can maybe roll a shoulder or two, and you can get better at that, and lift an arm and kick a little leg, you can dance. And it's a beautiful thing. In my class, I really want. You don't have to be a dancer. Of course, the more you dance, the more you get out of it. But you do not have to be a dancer, and you do not have to have a bunch of experience. And we start slow, and we build, and then we kind of warm down. But I like to think of it as a journey. You're going through, and at the end of the journey, at the end of the class, you're changed. Something has changed inside you.
Very
physically,
cool.
Emotionally, spiritually, something has
It's a
changed.
connection, right? Is that how you have connected to something that's outside of yourself and gotten out of yourself, maybe?
Yeah. You've connected with something that's outside of yourself or inside of yourself, right? That you didn't even know was there.
Wow.
Very cool.
So it's very inspirational. I find it very inspirational. And again, anybody can do it. I have beginners. I have a lot of my students are older, and they haven't danced, or maybe they danced when they were in high school. And I mean, literally, they're like in their 70s now, 60s, 70s. So it's been a while. But they follow along. They do what they can do. Everybody works at their own pace, at their own level.
But you have, is what you do kind of choreographed? Do you recommend do what I do, or do what you?
No, you do what I do. You do what I do.
As long as you can. I mean, if you can, make whatever effort you can.
It's not necessarily free dance. No, you do what I do. You follow along with me.
So if someone's taking classes with you, Bonnie, are they learning particular types of dances in each class? So let's say I want to learn how to Simba, or is that even or Samba? I guess it's Samba. If I want to learn how to Samba, could I take a Samba class with you, or would I start just by generally taking foundational skills of dance? How does that work?
Yeah, so my style is contemporary. It's contemporary modern. I do incorporate some steps like that, samba or salsa, but you will learn ballet technique. And there's a lot of language with that. And some of my students want to understand the language better, like a tendu, or a dégagé, or a passe, or a développé, or a relevé, or a plié. All of these terms. It's like, what is this exactly? And so it's a language as well. You have to know what those things are, rond de jambe, or rond de jambe en l'air. I mean, so there's a lot of terminology that you will learn. And then, of course, there's a lot of basic dance steps, a kickball change, a box step, like you said, the salsa step, a grapevine step.
But you have different levels too, right? You have an entry level and maybe an intermediate level and an advanced.
Well, right now online, I do have a beginning level, and it's beginning because it's 1 hour. And then I have a slightly more advanced level, which is 1 hour and 15 minutes. So it's just a little bit longer. And we do a little bit more. Yeah.
So can someone learn an entire dance routine in an hour, or do they? No. Okay.
Well, maybe in an hour you could learn an entire dance routine, but my class isn't just about the dance routine. We warm up.
Right. Okay.
We spend a lot of time warming up.
Oh,
in
right.
fact, that's one of my big things. I have an hour class. We spend about 35 to 40 minutes warming up.
Wow.
And then 20 minutes dancing. Because I believe that preparation is key to everything. And you have to have your muscles ready to go. And you also want to prepare your body to move. So we've done a lot of pliés, okay, in our warm up or dégagés or whatever, so that when we're dancing and you need to do a plié, it's there. You've already done it. You know what it's like. You're not thinking, okay, now I have to do a plie. What was that again? It's there.
So it's kind of cell memory then. As the more you do these warm-ups, it becomes automatic then for your body to do it while you're actually putting it into a dance routine.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I will say that I put on a workshop for some of my students who were competing a couple months ago. And this workshop was a 4.5-hour workshop. And I asked Bonnie to come in and take some breaks with the kids and get them active and not sitting for this whole 4-hour period of time. And she did a marvelous job first in getting them out of their seats and standing up in front of their computers and dancing and starting to move their body. And they had a lot of fun. And it was a great little 15-minute break. But it reignited their learning ability. It reignited their desire to now focus in on something else for a little while. So dance in that 15-minute period of time for those youth made a huge difference in their ability to focus, to learn, to comprehend what was being taught. It was amazing. I will give you props for that, Bonnie. That was really cool.
Thank you.
That a couple of times through
A testimonial.
Yeah,
Very much.
It was really good.
Well, I think, Jackie, you're going to show us what we're talking about. So let
me see if I can bring this up.
Let's take a look at just exactly what it is that Bonnie does and what she helps people with. And
yeah, I was just going to set this up. This is a choreographed piece. Okay. This is something that, to learn this piece would probably take about 3 to 4 lessons. Okay. It's not something you would learn in one lesson. So these students of mine, a lot of them have been taking classes with me for years. They know my style, but still, even this dance took about 3 to 4 actual classes to get to master, and then we record. Okay?
Nice. And this is in your studio.
Well, it's not my studio, but it's a studio that I would,
Okay. All right. Anything else? Do you want to play it?
This is a studio in Los Angeles called Live Arts LA. That's where the studio is. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Let's watch Bonnie doing her stuff.
I'm going to be yelling. That's my mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the far. I guess if you're looking at the screen, you're right. There's 2 extra steps there. A little bit choppy. That's a big picture. So, that's choreographed, right? That's highly choreographed. And we're all doing the same thing.
yeah, you guys seem like you're in very, very good time.
The music is my favorite. Now we're talking about this. Yeah, that's fun. Does that look fun?
It looks really fun. And you know what I'm most impressed with, Bonnie? Is that you can not only dance, but you're shouting out directions and instructions.
Oh, yeah.
I know that I would have the lung capacity to do that. So is that something that is also a benefit of dancing, is that you actually increase your capacity for air, for oxygen in your lungs, and you build balance and strength at the same time?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it builds stamina and strength. And, so that dance, I don't know if we saw the movie, is probably 5 minutes long. We danced through the whole piece, maybe 4.5 minutes long. But yeah, my classes are nonstop movement. So we are moving for an hour. I mean, in the studio it was an hour and a half. And that was towards the end of an hour and a half. That was probably the last 5 minutes of an hour and a half class, what you just saw there.
Yeah. Wow.
So we are moving for the full time, and even online, it's an hour class or an hour and 15-minute class. We're moving through the whole time. And yes, of course, you're building strength and stamina. And exercise, as we all know, is so good for us, right? It's good for our brains, it's good for our bodies, our muscles, our lungs, everything. And dance takes that to a whole new level because of the music and the rhythm and the creativity.
Tell us more about that creativity piece. How does that play in? Is it being more creative with free movement, or does it do something in our brains?
Well, I do think it does something in our brains. We know that being creative is super good for the brain, right? I mean, it uses all of the brain muscle. There's 3 myths of creativity. And one of those myths is that you're sort of born a creative person. And if you're not a writer or an artist or a musician or something like that, you're not creative. And that's just simply not true, right? Creativity is about making connections and trusting yourself. And so when you're dancing and moving, you're building that creative muscle.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I can see as those women were moving, I can see that they're building a connection with the spiritual side of whatever joy or sense of, I don't know, happiness that gives you to move your body that way. And then with the actual movement happening, it seems to me, and I don't know much, but it seems to me like it's making a greater connection between that mind-body pathway, right? Because now you're feeling something, your body is moving it, you're creating even more feeling with the movement. I just think it's a beautiful way. And that to me feels creative. It feels like you're doing something unscripted. You're just enjoying the simpleness of life that you can physically move, right?
Yeah.
And even if you don't have legs, or even if you have disabilities, you can move parts of your body in different ways.
That's
and
cool
still enjoy it, right?
Absolutely. Sure. I mean, you could sit on your chair and just float your arm up and it feels good, right? I mean, if you just did that.
Yeah.
The stretching feels good. And, sometimes it's just a little gesture, like even just a little gesture can make a big difference. So, yeah.
I would have to imagine it has a lot to being in the now, right? It would be hard to dance or move to rhythm if you weren't present, if you weren't right here, right now, right? I think that maybe that has a lot to do with it.
That's a really good point. Exactly. And well, for me, it's a little bit, not being in the now is really important, but you're also always thinking about what's about to happen. Because I tell my students all the time, if you don't know that you're about to do a kickball change, you got to know what's coming. And sometimes that can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah. You know what, Bonnie, the fact that you brought up kickball change, let me throw in a little experience. Of late, I was asked to be part of a dance to celebrate a friend of mine who's going to be the new president of Toastmasters International, Margaret Page. And she doesn't know this, but those of us who are in her class have done this dance routine. And part of the dance routine was a kickball change. And I danced actually in high school professionally and competitively. Oh. But I could not for the life of me remember the kickball change. And I had the hardest time getting my body to do it. So it used to just come natural. All of those steps, I could just do it right away and didn't even have to think about it. But it took me at least 50 minutes to figure out how to do that kickball change. And it's so simple, but without that constant practice, my memory had gone south and it was a real challenge for me. So dance is something I think also that improves your memory, and it keeps you more able to focus and react to those things that happen in life that you're not prepared for. So that was a little lesson I learned recently when you mentioned the kickball change, because I was like, that should have been so simple for me, but I had the hardest time coordinating that.
I'm going to have to keep my eyes peeled for this.
It'll happen at the convention in a few weeks.
At the convention, okay.
Yep.
Well, sometimes I also tell my students don't overthink it. allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking every single little step of the way, it's not going to happen. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now what
Bonnie.
has come? Has there been challenges now that you've gone on video, or is there in some ways easier to teach on video?
They're both, right? There's challenges, and the easy thing is that I'm here in my living, and my space is right here. I don't have to get in the car. I don't have to go anywhere. That's really convenient.
Yeah.
But of course, there are challenges. For one thing, when I'm raising this hand, for you to mimic me, that would be your right hand. Mm. This is right, and
right.
This is my right hand. So I always do my left hand and I say it's the right hand. I'm like, what side am I on? Because my left is your right. And I'm always, I'm doing it based on what you are.
Right.
And it's tricky. It's tricky for them, my students. It's a little bit tricky for me. And it's always harder to look.
Bonnie, there's a setting in Zoom that you can mirror. So you could flip that.
I probably could flip it. Yeah, I should think about doing that. And then we would all be able to
then you wouldn't have to think twice. That would be way too much. Okay, Bonnie, you enticed us. You showed us. We showed a good video of a great video of what your students go through. And so you have a special offer for our listeners today. They can come and take a class for free. Is that right?
Yeah, as a guest. Absolutely. Online through Zoom. Your guests, your audience is can sign up. I teach 4 times a week, Wednesday through Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
So after the show today, go to lifemasteryradio.net or .com to today's show page, and that link will be there, and you can go and sign up with Eventbrite. So what can they expect? What would they expect to come and check it out and get in that groove and find out that it's a really cool thing?
That's exactly right. So when they come, have a little bit of space, maybe an 8x8 space or bigger is better. Wear comfortable clothes. Make sure you can see the computer, the screen, or whatever it is that you're using. Have some water handy. We also go to the floor. So if they use a mat, like a yoga mat, that would be, or they don't have to have one. But if they prefer to have a yoga mat, that's good. And just come with an open mind and ready to move. And even if they don't get everything, it's okay. If you're not getting it, just take a deep breath and then jump back in when you're ready.
Do you have stories that you can share about some of your students overcoming challenges or where this meant more to them than just a dance class? Anything like that comes to mind?
I do get those testimonials all the time where, they say, even when I'm not in class, Bonnie, I'm thinking about your classes. You're with me all the time. I'm so sorry I missed it. I was thinking, I'm with you all the time.
Do you record them?
Well, they send me the email.
No, do you record your classes so that in case
I haven't done a lot of that. There is a platform that I want to use that allows me to record it and do it. The Zoom thing isn't really working for me. See, the hard thing is that my students don't want to be recorded, right? So it has to be just me, right? So the Zoom thing is a little bit harder because I like to have it in this gallery mode. But I am working on a platform so that it's just me and then,
Cool. And so how is that going to expand your outreach then, using that different platform?
Then I'll have video on demand, which I haven't quite gotten to yet. See, that's the other thing. My classes are
right. With like the magic mirror. So they pull up that video and they look in that mirror and they're actually taking your class, which seems like real time, but it's actually a recorded thing.
That's exactly right. And I'm not there yet.
Oh, that's awesome though.
it together. I like to be in the here and now, like you said, in the moment. And that's what I like. And I don't really, I like to see my dancers. I like to
marketing, producing, organizing, sales. Oh my gosh. I know.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. And are your classes just for women?
Men can take them, but I seem to attract women. Yeah, it's mostly women.
Yeah.
I've had a few guys that they don't stick around.
So no couples dances then?
Well, yeah, no.
If you're in your home, I mean.
Yeah, because I was always partial to the Latin dances, the tango and the cha-cha. Those were always really fun for me when I was dancing. And they're just so, I don't know, romantic as well.
Couples orientated.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's besides this new option? What's coming new for you, or what's your bigger mission in this? How would you like to see more women in the world dancing?
Yeah, I would like to see a lot more women in the world dancing. And we can tell stories. We can send messages through dance. It doesn't have to just be moving for moving's sake. And I would like to be able to do that, to have a bigger message with the movement. And sometimes that's done with the music and the songs, and sometimes it's done with the actual movement itself.
You'd think corporations would be really open to it. They're always exploring and searching for creative things for their employees to do to kind of break that up. So you'd think that would be maybe a market avenue.
It would be. I agree with you. I got to put my marketing hat on and go do that.
Well, and like I said, your work with my youth. I mean, especially if some of these schools stay in online classrooms or virtual classrooms for the next school year. Some of them might, offering an opportunity to have the students take a break for 15, 20 minutes, like my students did in that small workshop. That means a lot for the kids. I mean, that had a huge impact on my students, and they really enjoyed it. Feedback that I got was all positive. Really, really loved it. So,
good. And
with so many kids on video games these days, they've got to have more movement.
More movement.
Absolutely. No, sitting is the new smoking. Right?
Wow.
I mean, just too much sitting in front of the computer. It's not good for us. It's not good for our bodies. It's just, you got to get up. We got to move. We got to sweat. We got to reach. It's
really
important.
Oh, my goodness, ladies. We just have 5 minutes left. And Bonnie, what are we missing? Is there anything we missed? Is there anything that we didn't talk about? Is there something that you want to get out there?
Well, I'm going to give you my life lessons from the studio, my 3 life lessons from the dance studio. The first one we've kind of talked about, and that is preparation is everything. And in dance, it's true too, right? Even when you're doing a step, if it, in order to leap, for instance, you have to plie to go up, right? You always have to be preparing your body for the next step. And the other thing in dance is everything counts. So when you're dancing, or your arm isn't just hanging there, you always have air in the body, everything from the top of the head to the toes, right? Your toes are either pointed or they're flexed. They're not just hanging there. Your shoulders aren't just hanging there. Everything counts in your body. And so I think that's a good lesson in life too, right? Everything counts. And the other lesson is dance is a conversation between your body and the soul. And it's a nice way to think about everything that you do. What are you doing, and what is that conversation between your life and your soul as to whatever it is you're doing? And that's what dance is. So those are my 3 life lessons from the studio.
Do you have a speech like that prepared that you talk on stages with?
Yes, I do.
Yes, awesome. Awesome. So not only can corporations, event planners, and that kind of thing have you come to do some dancing, But you can incorporate that into a presentation or a breakout session or something like that as well. That is really cool. I would go to conventions and conferences where there was going to be a little dance class. I would do that.
Cool. Yeah.
Especially when you're traveling.
I've been to some big events that in intermission or in the beginning or at the end, they do bring up somebody on the stage to dance, kind of mix it up a little bit. But that's back when, you could go to a live event. Now it's a little different with Zoom, but
yeah.
Very cool. Well, Bonnie, I want to thank you so much for showing up today and showing up as you. And I wish you the best. And we're going to have you back and keep us updated on your successes. So thank you. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Jackie, any takeaways? You're the dance queen already. Every time we play lead-in music and I look at Jackie, she's over there. We did some other event and we were doing something and playing music. And I just looked at Jackie and she's there moving. So
yeah.
Did you get any takeaways today?
Well, sure. I think I love, well, first of all, I love Bonnie's life lessons from the dance studio, because the second one, which was everything counts, that to me rings so true, because if we were more open to reacting the way our bodies would want us to, I think we'd be happier. So whenever I hear music, as Todd says, I have to start moving something. and I think that's because that counts. That movement counts. That connection with whatever spirit comes out when you dance. So I think we need to listen more to our bodies. I think that's a lesson I'm taking from this, is that if you want to dance, dance. Don't let anything stop you from dancing.
Very cool. See, Jackie always gets a lot out of our shows, and she writes a really good blog. Keep an eye out for that blog. Go sign up for the newsletter and check out today's show page and find the link to Bonnie's free class and enjoy it. Go check it out. I bet you just love it. That's about all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please tell a friend about the show. We don't have telephone. Well, I guess we have cell phones, but we don't. But you can tell a friend. Tell a friend. Lastly, please make it a great day, because it is all about choice. Bye-bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Life Mastery with Todd Allen, the talk radio show that dives into the science of higher consciousness. Join Todd and his guests weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and learn how to live a peaceful life. For more information on Todd and his guests, visit his website at www.lifemasteryradio.net. That's www.lifemasteryradio.net.